Okay, I owe you guys such a huge apology. First of all, sorry if you can hear my niece. She's 2 years old and just like it makes a lot of noise. But yes, I'm home from spring break, and I'm sorry though for my last couple of weeks where I've just been completely MIA. I really don't have a good excuse besides the fact that I just have been overwhelmed. I got my job back on campus, and I only work 3 days a week, but it's like 20 hours of work in 3 days, and I I'm pledging a frat now, and that's all sorts of fun, and it's just I have so much going on beyond just regular schoolwork like I intended for this semester, and it's great because I needed this, but it's causing me to be not as focused on some of the things that I've committed myself to before, such as the Translate Profit. I've been bad about posting my own channel, and I owe you guys an apology for that. I have not been online for the most part, but I am working on building myself back up to that point where I will be able to, cover all of everything at the same time and not feel like I'm going to die from stress. um, and I will touch on on the last few weeks' topics in my next video, but I need to just talk about this topic this week, just because I don't feel like trying to edit with this crappy of a quality camera. But yes, okay, so that I'm 2 minutes into the video, uh, the topic is how do we feel about other FTMs? There's the idea that there's like this instant connection amongst all trans guys because we all get along, this, that, the other. And, I feel like there is to a degree when you meet someone with the same gender identity as yourself or any similar identity that there is somewhat of a connection right away. So that's that sharing something you guys have in common, and everybody loves finding someone else they have something in common with. It's like, oh, you hate this music? Sweet, we can be best friends. And the story goes on. There's God knows how many examples of that out there in the world. And I know for myself though, when I first went, for example, to the trans masculine group that meets once a month, and actually meets this Saturday. Hopefully, I can go. Um, when I went to the transmasculine group initially, I was kind of overwhelmed. I was like, oh my god, what am I doing with my life? Some of these people have their lives together so well, and I'm sitting here pre-T. What am I gonna do? And fast forward actually 2-ish years to like this meeting will probably be 2 years since I've gone to my first meeting. A, a lot has changed. And initially I went in and I was like, just T was my goal initially, and I knew these guys could help me out. And but I enjoyed going in. It was intimidating, but I enjoyed it. And I didn't connect right away, but when I started going back more frequently, like as frequently as I could, with it only being once a month, but I and started enjoying going back. And then when I started bringing a couple of these other trans guys, friends of mine that didn't even know that there was a group, and like just there was so much they didn't realize, or they were just coming out, whatever the case may be. Um, they quickly picked up on the same thing where they felt a little intimidated at first, but then they really got on board, and everybody was yeah. But at the same time, as the group changes each month, basically, because like our facilitator, he ended up leaving because him and his partner um, moved to New Hampshire or Vermont, one or the other. I'm assuming it's New Hampshire though, and because she finished her doctorate and she got a job offering up there. It was great. They're up there, they're doing their thing. They're still in the group though. But with the group ever changing, some new people come in, and sometimes personalities don't mesh well. Uh, like there's an older guy who attends group who does not mesh well um, with people of color transitioning that's in our group, and they got into a very heated argument over, it was more social things versus, identity things, but it was still kind of an identity thing at the same time. I'm trying to be really vague because this is supposed to be, what happens in group stays in group um, information, because I do not want to out anybody. Even if you guys would never meet this person in their life, it's still a matter of, respect for their. But, it was an older white gentleman who was transitioning late in life, and then there was a younger person of color who was transitioning, um, trying to figure themselves out as well. And, just things didn't really mesh well there. And I think that was just an age gap thing that didn't really, fit well. But I'm sorry, I'm starting to ramble on this. But you guys get what I'm trying to say. This is a perfect example of, not all trans guys get along, though. For the most part, though, I have not had any personal conflicts. Um, I feel like I've gotten along with 99.9999% of all trans people I've ever met or consciously have been aware of meeting. And, you know, it is definitely something you can't generalize, because there is the instances where you have the older white gentleman and the younger person of color who don't get along. And, it has nothing to do with being trans, though. I feel like I've just rambled for God knows how long. I'm afraid to look at how long. For six, almost 7 minutes. So yes, I will see you guys next week. I promise I will touch on next week, the last few weeks' topics in the next video, just because I feel bad about missing it. Um, but yes, I will have my good camera next week, because I promised I'd make this video and I completely forgot to bring my good camera with me back home for school, from school. So I will see you guys next week. I promise I will make it. Even if it's not until like 9:30 at night when I get off work. But I promise I will do it. Bye, guys.